Hey guys, how's everybody tonight? Nice to see you. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Oh, fabulous. Okay, is everyone staying warm tonight? Because it's quite chilly and it's supposed to get even colder tomorrow. It's crazy. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I think everybody's here. I want to make sure I can see and hear everyone if you have questions. Okay. Colleen, you're good. I can't see you, so I just want to make sure you're good. You've got everything coming through. You're connected okay?
I'm good.
Okay, fantastic. We miss seeing you though.
I know I spend all day on the computer in meetings and video conferences, so it's tough to get back on. Yeah.
I know, that's my life now too. So welcome guys. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting. So I'm just curious if, well, all of you guys know me. So, you know, no one here doesn't know me. So maybe what I'll do is, oh, we've got someone else coming in here. Maybe what I'll do is just quickly introduce myself for those. Oh, Mercedes. Hello. You're logged in as Lori. So I was like, what? You confused me for a second there. That's okay. Probably because I logged in on Zoom on your computer last time at Christmas. So welcome guys. I'm just going to take a quick second to introduce myself. Even though all of you know me, I will be sharing this replay with others who couldn't make it, who may not know me. So I'll just make it really quick. So my name is Lori Moody, and I am a certified WildFit coach. I'm also a licensed massage therapist, a fitness instructor, and a health coach. And even though I'm not conducting fitness classes and massages anymore, I'm still working full-time as a health coach, and especially with WildFit, which is nutrition-based. And so I'm keeping very, very busy these days. I'm a proud dog mom, a new grandmother, and a wife, a mother, a sister, a friend, you know, all those roles that we play. And I got my start in fitness probably at a very young age. I love fitness. So for those of you who do know me, you know that I love fitness. Excuse me. This is what happens when you talk a lot. Throat gets dry in the winter. Bear with me. Hot tea isn't cutting it. So, has anyone made any resolutions? Kind of. Boy, oh boy, excuse me. Can't seem to shake the dryness. So with resolutions, I can tell you, as a fitness instructor, we would thrive on our clients and their resolutions. Do you guys remember what the gym looked like in January? Type in the chat. What do you think of when you are in the gym in January? What comes to mind? Crowded is usually the word I usually see, right? Crowded, noisy, yes, packed, a lot of people. Yeah, Kathy, you hit the nail on the head. My throat was so dry. I got tears in my eyes now from coughing. Yes, they won't be there for long. Because with resolutions, a lot of times we are using willpower. So as a fitness instructor, a lover of fitness, I got very frustrated myself. Anytime I made New Year's resolutions, I would have these big goals because, like I said, I loved fitness. So I had huge, huge goals all the time, the first of the year. And I would get frustrated if I didn't follow through and actually achieve what I set out to do. Then I had one, thank you. Then I would get really frustrated if I didn't achieve them. And that kind of just sent me in a tailspin, and I would take a couple steps backwards, which is not what I wanted to do. So over the years, once I became an instructor and I realized that in the gym facilities, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And I was seeing it not only in myself, but as a mass. Like I would see everyone else go through these periods where they were just about ready to start seeing some success, and then they would drop off. Something would set them back, and then they would drop off. And so over the course of the last few years, I started noticing all these mixed messages from the fitness industry, the diet industry. And I kind of was getting really bent out of shape about it. And I almost didn't want to be a part of it, you know? So I changed the mindset. So a few years ago, and Michelle, you may remember this, a few years ago, I came up with the idea of a bucket list. Instead of resolutions, I said, hey, let's just put anything that we want to accomplish. And I encourage them to put anything and everything on there. So if they had career goals, they could put that on there. And I passed out pieces of paper, and we all wrote on there our bucket list, like what would we like to accomplish? If we knew we couldn't fail and that anything was possible, what would we like to have or do? So everyone took a piece of paper and they wrote out their bucket list, and we taped them to the mirror. Do you remember that, Michelle? And we taped them to the mirrors of the fitness room. And it was really, really inspiring to see what people were writing. Some people were writing that they wanted to achieve all 46 high peaks in the state of New York. Some people had down that they wanted to lose weight. Some people wanted to go on a really nice vacation. Some people wanted to get a new car or move. And there was all kinds of goals that they wanted. And it was really inspiring to see everybody's goals. And so just by changing our mindset and thinking that this could be possible for us, and we don't have to start it at the new year, we could start it anytime we wanted. We could start it on April 21st if we wanted to. And who knew if we could complete it in the fall or the winter, or maybe at the end of the year exactly, who knows? But the thing of it is I wanted to get them out of that New Year's resolution mentality, because New Year's meant it had to be big. It had to be something that they could achieve by the end of the year. So they already knew that this is what their focus was on the whole year, but they didn't have the proper tools. And so a lot of them, like I mentioned earlier, would drop off. So if you look at the stats of a New Year's resolution, there's about 74% of us. Now, this was last year's stat. So 74% of US adults make New Year's resolutions. Type in the chat, what percentage do you think actually stick to it? Type in the chat, out of 74% making the resolutions, how many do you think actually stick to it? Ooh, you guys got some good guesses. 5%, 3, 5, 17, 10, 15%. A lot of those, I'm not surprised though, because a lot of those percentages are on health related topics. Topping the list is to exercise more. That's in the 50%, like 49% is to save money. And eating healthy and losing weight were the other two at 43 and 37%. But the amount of people that actually stick to their goal, their New Year's resolution, is 7%. 7. That's really not a lot. A lot of it, as we mentioned, is due to willpower. They don't have any other tools. They're trying to muscle their way through it. And when life throws them a curveball, they're gone. And so all those words that you described in the gym, the first week in January, first couple weeks in January, what were some of the words we had? Packed, lots of people. Those go way down. So by the time February comes around, people have already started not coming. And I've seen that. I've seen that as a facility instructor. It is a really sad sight. We want them to be there, but it's really sad, and they start to dwindle. So what if we could change that? What if we could change those numbers? First off, what if you didn't need willpower? What if you actually wanted to do the thing that you were trying to do? Because a lot of times people are moaning and groaning about their goal. They want to lose weight or they want to eat healthier, but they're moaning and groaning about what they have to do to get there, right? Like, did you ever hear somebody say, oh yeah, I signed up for this thing. I really going to try it this time, but I got to get up at 4:30 in the morning. You know, they're miserable about it. Like, what if you actually wanted to do that? So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how we can use the bucket list to actually want to achieve our goals and to get us out the door, or get us to buy those vegetables, or get us to shut down social media if we're watching too much of it, cancel that Netflix, right? So whatever your goals are, we're going to try to want to do those things to get there so that you can finally be successful, because you're going to want to do them. So you won't have all these things, you know, sideline you. So does everybody have a piece of paper? Everybody got something to write with? Okay, awesome. Now, don't be shy, guys. I want you to write down anything that comes to mind as we go through this process, because I'm going to share this process with you. This is just something that's worked for me. Nothing is scientific here. These are things that I have used through my entire lifetime. You know, I've never been motivated or unmotivated to exercise. My biggest problem was, you know, following through when things got in my way. I've always been motivated to exercise. I'm so fortunate that I enjoy exercise. But my problem was following through when things started to get in my way. And so these are things that I have learned to do, and things that I've picked up along the way, from either people that I follow or books that I've read, classes that I've taken, and trainings that I've had. So I want to share these ideas with you guys, and I want you to share some feedback. Did anyone share their goal in the chat? Was anyone brave enough to share their goals? If you have some, maybe you're not quite sure what your goals are. That's okay too. Does anyone have any that they want to share? I could tell you for myself, I need to stop wasting time on the internet. I do some wasting of time on the internet sometimes, because now that I'm on it for work more, I tend to like take a little trip off to the side and do a little shopping on Amazon or something. So yeah, you guys feel me? I know. So I need to cut back a little. Oh, Kathy, she's blaming you, Ken. I love how she's doing that. You know, it's not her, it's you. Happy birthday, by the way. You're welcome. I hope you had a great day. You should. You guys were both home today, right? With a snow day? Awesome.
Yes.
The best.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's the best way to celebrate your birthday, with an unexpected day off.
Right?
Awesome. So Colleen's got a goal she wants to share: to be more consistent with fitness and nutrition, and to finish the fire towers. That's awesome. Colleen, how many fire towers are there in New York?
Oh my goodness. I'm about halfway, and I think there's 20. There's just over 20, if I remember correctly.
Okay, and you're over halfway. That's awesome. Good for you. Are these something you can do in the wintertime? I'm just curious.
We actually prefer to do them in the winter. Snowshoeing. Yeah.
I love that.
We were supposed to do one Saturday, but I wasn't up for 2-degree weather to do it. So we changed our mind.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So that's exciting to do. Kathy, you just want to be successful living WildFit. Yeah, that's awesome. So we're gonna talk about what success looks like for you. Not necessarily, we don't have to talk about you specifically as a group right now, but we're going to break down some of these goals, some of these general goals that are, you know, you want to be successful. So we need to find out, what does that look like? What does successful look like? You know, so we can break that down. So with your notebook and your pen, that's where we're going to start. So the very first step is to take inventory. So what I like to remind people is that we all have our own little map. And so we all need to get onto our map. So this is where we take our inventory, right? So think of if you were taking a road trip, you would follow a map, right? If it was a place you didn't know where you were going. I know it's not the old-fashioned style maps, it's all digital now, but you would need to know your starting point, and then you'd need to know your destination. And that will give you a guide, a map to tell you where to go. So during this time, I want you to think about where are you in your goal. So when you think about your goal, where are you? Are you happy with where you're at? Just start jotting down. This is going to be like a brain dump. So questions that you can use to ask yourself, where am I? For example, I'm way off base, or like Colleen said, I'm halfway there. Right? So think about your goals. This is just general right now, and we can break them down. So just write down anything that comes to mind, whether it's fitness, nutrition, career, parenting, relationships, anything at all. Just where am I? Am I close? Am I far off? Do I have no clue where to start? And then ask yourself, am I happy? Am I happy with where I'm at in reference to those goals that you're thinking of? And just go ahead and jot that down. I'm happy. I'm really pissed off. You might be able to say, I'm happy most of the time, but I get frustrated. Just jot down those emotions. Another question you can ask yourself is, am I supporting my long-term health goals? Am I supporting my long-term personal goals? Maybe they're not health related. Maybe you're thinking about a career. I'm going to just kind of give you guys a minute to jot down so that you can focus on the questions I'm prompting you. This kind of roughly puts you on your map, so you kind of know where your starting point is. Like picture it in MapQuest, right? The little figurine where you're starting from, like the little walking guy or the little car, it's where you start from. So let's think about your lifestyle now, your current lifestyle. What do you actually love about your current lifestyle? Just jot down anything you love. I'll give you some examples of mine. So one of my goals is to focus more on strength training. And I'm mostly happy about that, but I wish I was a little further along. And most of the time I do support my long-term health goals. So when I'm thinking about what I love about my current lifestyle in reference to this particular goal for me, I love that I love exercise. I love that I have a supportive family. And I love that I have fitness equipment at my fingertips. So these are things I'm loving about my lifestyle in that particular goal. So thinking about your goal, what do you love about your lifestyle? And what do you like about your current diet? Because I'm assuming, does everyone have a health-related goal, or does anyone have a non-health related goal? Or a little bit of both? A little bit of both? Even if you have non-fitness goals, having good nutrition is also going to help you. Like, say your goals are all career oriented, and you might be thinking, yeah, Lori keeps talking about fitness, but I have no desire to do any fitness. Good, Heidi's got both, Colleen's got both. Even if you have no desire to, have a fitness goal, really getting your nutrition on track can really help you mentally. And so that's going to help you in your career as well. Okay, now let's think about our career. What about how do you feel about your career at this current moment? What do you like about it? What would you like to see different? Just go ahead and jot down anything that comes to mind. Heidi, I love your picture. I miss seeing your face too, but I love your picture.
Thanks. Yeah, I didn't do too much to kind of class myself up here today because it was a snow day for everybody, so we just hung around. So I think we're just going to go with the picture that Lexi drew, and it looks a lot better.
I'm sure you're being too hard on yourself, but okay. Oh, Rebecca, you just realized you're wearing your Wilder Body shirt. Cool. I finally got mine too. Yay! I got mine as well. All right. So you've got some stuff jotted down. Let's think about your relationships now. Maybe it's the relationship with yourself or relationships in a spousal situation or a partner situation or friends, coworkers. Think about all the relationships in your life and how do they enrich your lives? Or are there some that zap your energy? Do you have some relationships like that totally drain you? Yeah, just kind of we're just taking inventory. Remember, you don't have to analyze anything. We're just trying to know where we're at so we can get on our map and find a clear path to our destinations. Sometimes when I do this, sometimes I don't even realize what's going on in my mind and my body and my lifestyle until I do this practice, because we're like hamsters on a wheel sometimes. Don't you feel like that? So you do the same thing over and over and over again, and we start just accepting things for what they are. And it might not be ideal. It might not be the way we want to live or the way we want to conduct ourselves, but we just get so used to it and we just keep repeating it. And then we get numb to it. And until you actually sit down and take this inventory, you might be like, wow, I guess I'm really not happy. Or, wow, I guess I kind of am happier than I thought. Look at all this amazing stuff I like about my lifestyle. So it just brings that awareness. Hey, Jill's joining us. I know a few Jills. I'm not sure which one, but we'll see when she gets on. Okay. So this is our brain dump. This is our taking inventory. This is knowing where we are as our first step in planning our strategies to get to where we want to be. All right. Everybody's got that. Fantastic. So let's name our goals. You don't have to do it. You can write it in the book. You don't have to name it out loud. You don't have to type it in the chat unless you want to. That's always cool if you do want to. But let's write down our goals. So this is step number 2, to name the goals. So what I want you to do is to write out your bucket list. So if you knew you could not fail, if you knew nothing was holding you back, what do you want to achieve? Go ahead and just, in no particular order, just go ahead and brain dump any goals that you would like to accomplish, whether it's next week, 6 months from now, 6 years from now. What would you like to accomplish? Just go ahead and jot all those down. Jill, we can't see you, but I wanted you to just give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay and if everything's working well for you. I almost said give me a thumbs up, but that's not going to work because I can't see you. Oh, good. You can give me the electronic thumbs up. Awesome. 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 So Jill, just to get you up to speed, what we're doing is taking inventory of our lives, just kind of gathering our thoughts as to if we're happy with our lifestyle, trying to figure out where we are to get onto our map so we know how to plan our strategy to get to our destinations, aka our goals. So just go ahead and jot down anything that comes up for you. Like, are you happy with where you're at in reference to your goals? How close are you? Are you far away? Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you have a good idea where you are headed? Anything that comes up for you, it's basically just a brain dump as we take inventory as that first step. And they're working on the second step, which is naming their goals. This is their bucket list. So this is not necessarily, I want to lose 10 pounds by my vacation. This isn't that. This is, I want to be in the best body that I can be, the most healthy version of myself. I want to hike all kinds of mountains and fire towers. So just, this is our bucket list. This is our dreams. This is our desires that we're writing down. If we knew we could fail and nothing could hold us back. And if anyone wants to share any, go ahead and type them in the chat if you feel like sharing. Once you've got your list, so you can keep going. If you've got more, you keep going. But if you've gotten most of them, now what I want you to do is I want you to number them by importance. So you're going to put a 1 next to the ones that are most important to you, and then so on. So ones that's next important is a number 1. The one that is the following most important, number 2, right? And so out of all the ones that you have listed, so if you've listed 10, you're going to name them, or I'm sorry, number them 1 through 10, 1 being the most important, 10 being the least important. But you can have more than 10 or less than 10. I'm just using 10 as an example. Would you guys like me to share some of mine? Are you curious? Okay, so mine are to be 100% sugar-free, to be burning fat, to learn Flowdesk, to learn how to utilize Instagram and TikTok, to get more followers, to help 50 clients this year, and to spend more time with friends and family. So those are some of my goals. So yeah, just go ahead and number them. And then once you've got them, has everybody got them numbered in order of importance? Okay, awesome. Now what I want you to do is I want you to circle your top 3. So basically 1, 2, and 3, get them circled or highlight, which if you like a highlighter, go ahead and highlight. These are the ones we're going to focus on your bucket list. Let's see if anybody shared any. No, you guys are not sharing any of your goals. Are you shy? That's okay. You don't have to share if you don't want to. Okay. So when you're thinking about these goals, let's focus on the top 3. The third, declutter your life. Yes, me too. I need to declutter. I'm really good at decluttering on the surface, but I have a lot of undersurface clutter. I don't know if you know what I mean, but yeah. Okay, so let's focus on this. Now, the third one is why these goals. This is our first step. Why these goals? This is the step that you really don't want to take lightly. You don't want to skip this step. For those of you that know me from WildFit, you know how important our why is. Our why is what drives us to make these choices and to create these good habits and follow through with the steps that we're going to take in order to get to those things on our bucket list. I want you to imagine, look at your top 3, go ahead and look and leave some space or just jot down underneath. How would your life be different if you achieved those goals? So looking at 1, 2, and 3, you can use these steps to do this with all of the goals that you listed, but we're just going to look at the first 3. Or if that's too much for you, you could even just pick the first one. You can just focus on 1 for tonight. How would your life be different by achieving that goal or bucket list entry? Can you visualize your life improving? Now think about it. What would you be doing? If you achieved that, what would you be doing? How would you spend your day? Who would you spend your day with? How would you feel about yourself if you achieved that goal? And once you achieved that, what else would be possible for you? Think about this. If this is something in your career, if you climbed one step of the ladder, what could be possible for you after? What would be the next step? Kim, that's great. Intentional walking every day, not just on your days off. Awesome. That's awesome. I've been trying to do that too with Mason for at least 15 minutes. I would go longer, but this time of year, it's hard for him because he's so little that he gets cold really, really fast. So we try to get outside at least for a minimum of 15 minutes a day. So now that you're visualizing your life as if you already have it, stepping into your life as if you've already achieved that, you're visualizing who you would be with, how you would feel about yourself, what you could accomplish. Now I want you to kind of go backwards slightly and just say, what would happen if I didn't achieve this? How would it affect my life if I did not achieve this goal or this bucket list entry? Because believe it or not, some people are not motivated by thinking how their lives could be improved, but they are motivated by avoiding their rock bottom. Does that make sense? Sometimes that can be more motivating. So I want you to think of it from two different perspectives. How would your life be affected if you did not accomplish this? Go ahead and just jot down anything. What would that rock bottom life look like? I know for me, if I didn't improve my nutrition, I could see myself not being able to get on the floor playing with my grandchildren. I could see myself struggling to go up and down the stairs with my arthritic knees. Those were big motivators for me to realize, wow, that could be my life. That could be my life where I struggled to get up and down the stairs. I didn't want to live that way. So now ask yourself, looking at your goals, looking at how your life could be by achieving it, looking at how your life would be if you didn't achieve it, I want you to think, okay, so I want this. Hi, Deborah. Who can help me with this? Who can help me achieve this goal? What are some of the things that I can do to help me get there? Are there things that you have? Are there exercise programs that you can follow? Are there nutritional plans that you can follow? Is there someone that you work with that could be your mentor? Are there certain people on social media that you find really inspiring that you could follow? Are there people that you could work with, like, for example, a coach, a personal trainer? Think about all the resources that you have that you could utilize to help you get there. And now we're still on step number 3, talking about these goals. And now I want you to think about any roadblocks. This is really, really important. So this step, not only is the third step important because we need to value our why, we need to understand how important this goal is to us. We also need to anticipate any roadblocks because they will happen. They will most definitely happen. I haven't met a single person yet that has set out on a goal and had nothing come between them that have caused them to have some sort of a step back, right? Now, I will say that I have seen people push past that because they have the tools and the resources to get through it. It doesn't mean that they don't face adversity sometimes. It just means that they have the tools and they know how to get through it. And a lot of other people, they just say, whoa, no, I'm out. This is too hard. See, it's not working. So imagine what could possibly get in your way. Rebecca, self-sabotage. This is where it shows up. Absolutely. I've done it myself. This is where it shows up. We're all shaking our head. Yes. So if we anticipate, in what ways do we self-sabotage? Does anyone do you see a pattern, or have you noticed a pattern in the past? Like, think about past New Year's resolutions. I'm thinking about I used to, as a fitness instructor and a facility owner, I remember clients like just disappearing come February and March. They're like, I haven't seen them in a while. And I know what happens. One of the biggest things was kids' schedules all the time. I can't tell you how many times I heard that. And it's not that it's not true. It's very true. I had kids in school on sports. I totally know. It's very true. But if we anticipate that and we put things in place so that we can get through it, then it won't be a factor and you won't self-sabotage. So this is where we really need to look, what could stand in our way? Does anyone have anything that stands in your way, any ways of self-sabotage? Or does anyone have any roadblocks that they know of that anticipate them, or that you anticipate? I can tell you one of mine is stress. When I do get a little bit of stressed, I all of a sudden retreat back and I'm like, it gets me overwhelmed. Colleen, emotional shifts that cause you to derail. Okay. Any other ones? Just jot these down. So if you know that you have certain things that get in your way, jot them down because you make them real. A bad day throws off your whole week. Okay, so that's another example of where we might find that one thing happens and we just give up, right? So that's like the old saying, if you got one flat tire, will we slash the other three? Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. Should we? No. But if we anticipate that flat tire, then we'll know what to do to fix it and not slash the other three. Deborah, traveling away from your regular routine. Yeah, that's a very valid thing too for sideline some people. So we're going to just keep brain dumping any of those things that you anticipate holding you back, because we're going to shine a light on them. This is you shining a light on them. You're going to say when they happen. So when you start making your plans and you start going in your weeks forward, when you start to travel and you start to think, oh no, I'm not on my usual routine because I'm traveling. Or if you're like, oh, here's a bad day. Oh my God, it's such a horrible day. It's like the day from hell. Or if you're like me, you're like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. I'm never going to get this done in time. When you start to feel that way, you're going to say, aha, I see you. I see you, roadblock. I see you trying to stop me, but you're not going to do it, because we're going to shine that light on it. And we're going to say, I knew you were coming. I knew someday that I would have a bad day and I'd get tripped up. I knew someday I would be stressed out. I knew that I was going to be traveling. I knew you were coming for me, but you're not going to win this time, right? So when we anticipate those roadblocks, they're not as powerful anymore. So go ahead and just write down those roadblocks for all the other goals that you have. You can do that later if you'd like. You're ready to move on to step number 4. So far, for those of who joined late, the first step was taking inventory. Just do a brain dump of everywhere you are. Just noticing what you're happy with, what you're dissatisfied with, how close you are to goals. Do you have supportive family? Do you like your lifestyle? What do you think needs more focusing? Just taking inventory on where you are in reference to your goals. Step 2 was naming your goals, or naming your bucket list entries. I like to call them bucket lists. Name them right out. Just put a list and number them, 1 being the most important. Highlight your top 3. And then the third was to figure out why were those important. So the third step is why those goals, why those bucket list entries? What are they going to give to you? How is your life going to be improved, enhanced? What is it going to give you? And what would happen if you didn't achieve them? And then, of course, noticing any roadblocks. Calling out the roadblocks. Okay, so that's getting everybody up to speed. So number 4, write it down in a journal, write it down on a Post-it note on your refrigerator. Better yet, tell someone. Tell somebody. And you want to know the biggest one of them all? This is writing it down and getting it out of your head. The biggest one you could do for this one, put it on social media. Nothing gets real like putting it out there on social media. Yep, you put it up on Instagram or Facebook and shit gets real. Now everyone knows. So if you really want to be held accountable, wow, go ahead and do that. You don't have to, but if you feel like you really want the accountability, I would love to see that if you guys did that. But the important thing is that we get it out of our head. That's the important thing here. So getting it out of our head and putting it on paper makes you automatically more accountable, because if nobody knew and it was just up here, like you could give up over and over and over again and no one would know. It's too safe. It's too safe when it's up here. Does everyone have like a buddy that you can tell? Does anyone have those friends that you can tell and you know that they're going to be supportive? Not everybody does. It's really challenging sometimes. One of my other tips for this is do not tell any negative Nellies. Does everyone have one of those friends that is like the negative Nelly, or they're always like, they got like this little black cloud over their head and they just always seem to be negative by a lot of things, and you love these people, but you're like, dang, they're so miserable sometimes. Don't tell them. Don't tell them, because they won't be supportive. They might say they will, but there's a chance that they might also say, see, I told you that wasn't going to work. Like if you start to struggle and you want to share your frustration, they'll be like, I told you that wasn't going to work. And that's just going to do more harm for your psyche. So don't tell the negative Nancy's, but share. I know for me, my husband is like the best person to share things with. He has been my supporter since day one. I have convinced him to do all kinds of things with me. I convinced him to run a marathon. I convinced him to try this Wild Fit thing. So he has been a wonderful supporter. And, sometimes he's a little bit of an enabler because he's a little too kind, but he's also pretty honest. If I really ask him to be, he will definitely tell me some things that I need to hear too. So it's really good balance. Kim, some of yours is not getting, these are back to your what am I trying to say? You're anticipating what could go wrong, right? You're not getting to bed early, spending too much time on social media. The weather could hold you back. Okay, those are good. Deborah's agreeing with you. Yeah, so when these things come up, you're just going to say, I knew you would come. I knew you would come. So when you already know, do you remember when Eric said this? Remember the used car salesman? So like when you anticipate what he's going to say, it's less powerful. It's the same thing. Deborah's got some golf buddies that just decided Wildfit is not a cult. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I agree earlier, like you were saying, they thought you were in a cult. It's funny. I've heard that before. I prefer the word tribe, as you guys know. Wonderful, guys. All right. So I want you to write this down. If you don't have a friend to confide in, I'm here. I'll be your friend. You can tell me. But yeah, and if you are a part of our WildFit tribe, that's what we're here for, is to support you. And for those watching the replay who may not know what our WildFit tribe is, I am here to support you on the Tranquil Moments Health and Wellness Coaching page. And yeah, you just need to find that group of people that you feel comfortable with, who aren't going to be judgmental and who are going to support you when you need it. And if you don't have those kinds of people in your life, you can rely on journaling. Journaling is like a best friend. And there's a journal that I like called the 5-Minute Journal. And some of you know, because I shared this in our group, but the 5-Minute Journal is a really cool book. I should have brought mine down with me. It's upstairs. But it's a really cool book. And if you've never done journaling before, this is awesome because it prompts you. So each page, you just have to take a couple minutes. It's called the 5-minute because you just designate a couple minutes in the morning, a couple minutes at night, but it prompts you. So if you feel like, I don't know about this whole journaling thing, I don't know what to write, it asks you questions. So you just have to fill in the blanks. It's quite easy, and they have extra pages where you can put goals and stuff in there too. So if you feel like you don't have any safe place to share your goal with, please get it on paper, at least in a journal or a Post-it note. Put it on your refrigerator or somewhere where you can just getting it out onto paper. All right, are you guys ready for number 5? Number 5 is to find an anchor. So what an anchor is it's a physical object. Actually, no, it might not be a physical object. It could be a physical object. It could be a song. It's anything that you can reference that will inspire you and remind you of your goal. And this is really important because, like I was mentioning earlier, we are hamsters on a wheel. So we do need reminders. So my reminder is this, I don't know if you can see it, this little munchkin right here. She's on my cell phone because she's my reminder, because I want to be able to get on the floor and play with her. And so if you have a photograph, maybe it's a song. Oh, good. Deborah's got her reminders. How cute. I love it. Anything that reminds you of your why it's important. So this is the thing I want you to do is think about your anchor as something where you're not going to need the willpower. You're not going to need the motivation. So it's not necessarily, I guess it could be like a bathing suit. It could be anything. Some people put, like, if you have a health goal, like a weight goal, you could put a bathing suit in your closet. As long as it triggers the why behind your goal, not just the result. Do you get my point? Like, sometimes a bathing suit just might get you thinking about the result, but I want you to think about why. And we got the furry babies too tonight. Aw. So our why is so important. So if you can think of that anchor, it could be a bracelet. It could be a song that you hear, a photograph. It could be a postcard on your refrigerator. Here's one. It could be a doctor's report, right? It could be a doctor's report. It could be a key. Maybe if you have career goals, it could be a key to a new office, a new home, a new car. This could be anything you want, but it has to be something that you will see on a regular basis and something that you don't have to go searching for, something that'll just be right there, like a bowl of fruit on your table. If you have health goals that require better nutrition, maybe you put a bowl of fruit on your kitchen table every day. Right? So just type in the chat, what are some of the anchors you guys have in mind? Does anyone have any anchors that you're thinking of? Rebecca, I just saw your comment. Your husband's still not sure about Wildfit being a cult. There's worse things, right? Does anyone have an anchor in mind? Oh, yes, a refrigerator filled with spring-friendly foods. Absolutely. I had a private coaching client once who used to wear a hair tie, you know, like a rubber band, a hair tie, and she used to wear that on her wrist. And anytime she was tempted to do something that wasn't supportive, she would snap it back on her wrist. I know, sounds a little painful, but it worked for her. Yoga mat. Yes, your yoga mat and rings on your watch. Fantastic. And yeah, these could look like sneakers at the end of your bed, right? Or on the floor, your workout clothes, just place them out by the floor, on the floor by your bed. Yes, lots of bruising on the wrist. I know, I think I would too after a while. But that was her trick. That's how she stopped, you know, it hurt. So she stopped having that. All right. Colleen, your dad, making sure that you stay healthy to help care for him. Absolutely. Our parents. Yeah. Yep. That's really good motivation. So something like that, you could, I'm not sure, Colleen, if you see your dad often, but you could have his photograph or something that makes you think of him on a regular basis. Okay. So thank you for sharing though. Those are good. Those are good anchors, guys. So now the sixth step is to make small actionable steps. So let's pick one goal for right now. So pick one goal and I want you to break it down. So whether your goal is to accomplish this in a year's worth of time or 6 months worth of time, I want you to break it down into smaller sizes or smaller timetable. All right, so think about that. And what could you do? Now, for example, let's think back. We've all been to the gym, right? So when you go to the gym, actually, I got a question. Who's taken a spin class? Okay, so a lot of you guys, or any fitness class. Go back to your very first fitness class or your very first spin class. And I'm going to use spin class as a reference here because I'm a spin instructor. So when you took your very first spin class, some of the things that you might have been thinking about were, wow, I don't know how long I could sit on this seat for. My butt is killing me. Does anyone remember that? Yeah. And then you got really good. And when I said, okay, guys, we're going to go into a standing flat. For those of you who've never taken a spin class, that's riding your bike standing up. Okay. So we're going to stand up. And you immediately thought, yes, I get to stand up. I get to get off my butt. This is amazing. And then you were like, oh shit, how long are we doing this for? My legs really hurt. Right? So then you're like, okay, she's still going. I got to sit down. And so you sit down. And then I want you to fast forward to maybe your most recent spin class, whether you do it at home or you take classes somewhere else. I have had, Michelle, how long have we done standing flats for? I'm pretty certain we've done a standing flat for at least 30 minutes straight. At least, I would say. You think? Yeah. Straight standing up, riding your bike for 30 minutes straight. So we didn't go from the very first class to standing up for 30 minutes straight, or even sometimes sitting in the saddle for the entire 60-minute class was a challenge, right? So you built on it from there. We said, just do what you can, and then we'll get stronger. It took 6 to 8 weeks to build up an aerobic base. And you can think of any fitness class. You know, did you feel like, you know, when you were doing jumping jacks for the very first time in a particular class, or how about burpees? Everybody loves to hate burpees, right? So we didn't do that like 20 times the first time we did it. So you go at it nice and slow. You build up from there. And you know that. So when we go at our goals, whether they're career or relationship goals, if we go all in right away, like the people in the gym do on January 1st, they're going to get burnt out and then they don't follow through. So we're going to break these down. So I want you to break it down. So if your goal is to do a 30-minute standing flat by next month, then maybe by next week you get a 15-minute or a 10-minute standing flat, right? So just break it down into smaller chunks. So that's what you can do with that goal. Break that down. What is one thing you guys could do this week to get you towards your goal? Write that down in your notebooks. One small thing. So not thinking big, not thinking of standing flats for a whole 30 minutes. What's one small thing you could do? Standing flat for 30 seconds. Right? Because you're going to feel so amazing that you did it for 30 seconds that you're going to want to do that again the next time you go to spin class. You're going to be like, yeah, I did it for 30 seconds. Yes, I bet you I could do it for 45 seconds the next time I go. And you will be really curious to see if you do that. So you're going to try to do that for 45 seconds. And then the next class, you're going to be like, I think I can go for 60 seconds. And then you're going to be like, yes, I did it for 60 seconds. And then the next class you go to, you're going to do it for 1:30. And then the next class, you're going to be so pumped that you did it for 1:30, you're going to be able to do it for 2 minutes. And because you're succeeding at what you're setting out to do, you're giving yourself small, achievable goals. You're saying, I'm just going to do this today. And you do it. And so you are so happy with yourself that you're eager to do the next one. You don't need to be forced. You don't need willpower. You're happy to do it because you're curious and you've caught the bug. And it feels amazing because when it feels good, our body wants to do it over and over and over again. So that's how you apply that small actionable step, and it builds and builds and builds and gets you where you want to be in the end. So not looking at the big picture, but breaking it down, just looking at what can I do today? What's one small thing I can do today? And you achieve that. And then you say, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And you just keep repeating it. You don't have to build on it on a daily basis unless you want to. It depends on the goal. But you can build on it by enforcing the fact that you succeeded. You're training your brain and you're saying, hey, I can do this. This is so achievable for me. And you just get that rush of dopamine, all those good hormones. You're feeling successful. You're feeling amazing. Your body's like, yeah. Do it again, do it again, do it again. And you keep repeating. And then you keep building because you're so proud of yourself and you're curious if you can go more and more. Deborah used to tell your trainer that you did not sweat, you only glow. I love it. So now you see with the weights you are sweating faster and more. That's awesome. And you know what? You might have more muscle mass on you, which is making that happen even more. That's so cool. So, one quick story is how I applied the small action steps. So I remember once when I was training for my first marathon, I started off doing this after an injury. So when I'm injured, I get really big, lofty goals because when I can't do something, it makes me want to do something more, right? Can anyone relate to that? So when I had this injury and I was told I couldn't run anymore, I took the time off. I listened to my doctor, I healed. But when I got the green light to go ahead, I said, I got plans, man. I'm doing a marathon this year. And I started in January because that's about the time, not because it was January, but it was the time that my recovery was up. And I started running for 30 seconds and walking for a minute. Running for 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Now, mind you, I had already done a couple of Boilermakers at this point. So going from running 9 miles to only being able to run for 30 seconds was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. But I said, nope, this is what I got to do. I took time off. I got to start from scratch. And I knew that for my mental state, I needed to do this. So I told myself I was going to run for 30, walk for 1. And I slowly progressed. I slowly made my running longer and my walking shorter. And as my running got longer and my walking got shorter, eventually my walking disappeared. And then I was running more. Now, I did that until my marathon, and I trained that way every single week. I broke down what I needed to do. And because these were small, actionable steps every week, I was able to do them without a problem. And I made plans. I knew that I would get sidelined. And I was working back then for a different company. And I remember saying to myself, I need to schedule these things. I need to schedule these things so I don't get sidelined. I anticipated that my kids were going to need me. So I made plans so that when they were at dance lessons, I made the plans instead of saying, oh, they got dance tonight, I can't run. No, put them in their dance class, and I went out the door and strapped on my sneakers and I went for a run around the building. And so I anticipated all of these things happening so that when they showed up for me, I could say, I know you're going to try to get me to just cancel my plans, but it's not happening because I've already got a solution. So this is where anticipating what could possibly set you back, if you anticipate that, make the plans to overcome it, you will be successful and you will build on it with small actionable steps. So now let's move on. So now that we are thinking about what we're going to do, little baby steps to build, now we're going to go to our calendar. Okay. Now, I know this is weird because most people go to their calendar first. Have you done that with New Year's resolutions? You're like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, and you go right to your calendar by this date. Has anyone ever done that? A lot of people do with their goals. They go to the calendar first. Now I want you to go to the calendar, and I want you to set a date in mind for your bucket list. But I don't want you to write your bucket list. I don't want you to write your goals. I want you to take out your calendar and I want you to write a reward on the date. So if you have a date in mind, let's say you have a vacation and you've got some goals, I want you to break it down. When you've got that vacation, I want you to set a reward. The reward is probably the vacation, right? And then I want you to go to the halfway mark. So if your vacation is in March, I want you to set a reward. What's going to happen? How are you going to reward yourself in March? And then you can go to the other weeks and you could start rewarding yourself either on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, or both. I highly recommend both. So when you see that on the calendar, you can write down whatever. Like, okay, let's actually type in the chat. What would you like to reward yourself with? Do you like massage, manicures, pedicures, dinner, movie, date night? Think of things. You could type in the chat if you can think of anything. So when you set this up, massage. Okay. Got you, Kim. I know. So what we're doing is we're retraining our brain by using a reward system. Spend money on yourself, not the kids. Awesome. Yes, massage is popular. I like it. I like it. Good ones, guys. Our expectations are actually the root of most of our disappointments. Wouldn't you say? Our expectations are definitely the root of our disappointments. That's one of the biggest problems with New Year's resolutions is our expectations. So if we link that date on the calendar with not a result, but with a reward, you're changing the way that your brain works. A lot of people, if they don't achieve their goals by a certain date, it's either because they feel like they have no willpower, they feel like they don't deserve it, right? They feel like they just got all kinds of excuses. It's just not meant for them. So let's not think in that positive way. Let's get that calendar out and set rewards instead with our small actionable steps. Yeah. Some of mine are to like spend a half an hour reading, because I have so many books that I have yet to finish or even get started. So for me, that's one of my rewards. So let's kind of just let go of our expectations, right? Let go of our expectations, celebrate the successes that you have been having on a regular basis leading up to that point in time when your reward is set in place. And then you just keep continuing and building and building and building until you get to your destination. All right, number 8. So jot down number 8. Number 7 was setting the date with a reward, not your result. Number 8 is to celebrate and reevaluate. So this is what I like to do when I have achieved something. So when I achieved my WildFit 90-day challenge and achieved everything that I wanted in there, I celebrated. I just got a massage. I went out to dinner with my husband, and unfortunately it's during COVID, so that was a little bit wonky. I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do, but I celebrated by saying, you know what? I want to take this a step further. I want to share this with everyone. So for me, I celebrated by becoming a coach, and that has just been amazing. But I want you to be able to celebrate and then reevaluate. So in that process of me celebrating and reevaluating, that's where I came up with that I wanted to do this to help more people. I wanted to do this to further my health. I want to take it up a notch. So I went on, for me, and started looking into other things, how do I want to say this without getting off on a tangent here, but I started looking into detoxifying my body, not just on a nutritional level, but in my home now. So it has broadened my horizons on health all around me, not just within my physical body, but all around my world, my home, and my environment. So that's how I reevaluated. So you could do that as well. So whatever your goal is, whether it's a career or whether it's fitness or whether it's relationships, when you achieve your goal, start from scratch, start from step 1, reevaluate and take that inventory, because chances are your life has already changed. So you just start fresh, and now you're setting the bar a little higher. So you reevaluate. Does that make sense? Thinking, when you reevaluate, think, how did your life change by achieving that goal? How did your life change? Did it change the way you thought it would? Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's more amazing than you ever imagined. This is a great step to go back and check in. As long as we are on this journey, this cycle should just keep going and going and going every year. So think about where you want to go. Think about how you want to get there. If you stay within your comfort zone all the time, you're just going to keep getting the same results over and over again. So we need to make that little change. And looking at the big picture seems really, really scary. So just break it down into small chunks. Break it down into actionable steps that you can feel good about, and your body will want to repeat that. Because success is never guaranteed for anybody. Never guaranteed for anybody. But if you try, then you are closer than most people, right? And I think, is it Michael Jordan that has that quote, like, what's the quote? Does anyone know the Michael Jordan quote? Like the worst shot is not the one that he missed, it's the one that he didn't take. Something along those lines. You guys remember that? I think there's another one by Teddy Roosevelt too, that the best thing that you can do, or no, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing you can do is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. Something along those lines. Does anyone remember that quote by Teddy Roosevelt? Heidi, maybe you know that one by Teddy Roosevelt. But, you know, when we think about people that inspire us, that have had some amazing accomplishments in their lifetime, whether it's sports, whether it's, you know, maybe people we see in social media or actresses, and you know, just think about the people that you think have these awesome accomplishments. They make it look really, really easy, don't they? Like, we don't see everything that they go through. We really don't. We just see the result. We see the end. We don't see the times in between when they struggle. We don't see their fears. We don't see their setbacks. And it's oftentimes, like, sadly, it's after these people have passed that we feel that we know their true story, where, you know, you'll hear an autobiography about someone and you'll be like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they never knew how to read. You know, I think, who is it? Henry Winkler that played Fonzie from Happy Days. Like, if I remember correctly, he didn't know how to read. Like, would you have ever guessed that someone so successful as the Fonz on Happy Days struggled and didn't know how to read? You know, so we just see their highlights and their end result, but we don't know what they went through to get there. And we're the same way. We can be just as amazing as them. We just have to keep applying our tools. We have to just anticipate we might get set back. And we just have to keep pushing and making those small steps. But when you do this in a way with these small actionable steps that are so doable that you find joy in them, that you want to repeat them over and over again, and that is going to keep you more accountable right through to the end, so much more than just saying, hey, it's a new year, I'm going to lose 20 pounds this year, I'm going to go to exercise class 5 days a week. And then you do it in the first month and you're completely burnt out, you're injured, and you give up and you're like, see, that doesn't work. I'm never doing that again. Because when that happens, our brain wants to protect us. Our brain says, hey, no, don't do that again, because you did that last time and you got hurt and it was awful. Don't do that again. That's what our brain's going to tell us. And that's why resolutions don't work, because we have this history with failed resolutions and our brain is not going to let us do it again.
I don't understand.
Oh, I hate when Siri talks to me. Did you guys ever have that happen where she's listening to you talk and then she just spits something out? I wasn't talking to you. So this is what I want to say, is that you can do this with small actionable steps. Your brain is going to say, hey, I like this. You like this. We feel good. We're going to keep doing this. And you get that internal support. Instead of your monkey mind trying to say, no, you got hurt last time, don't do this, your body is going to support you, and you're not going to need that willpower anymore. You're not going to need to feel like you have to do this. You're going to want to do this instead. You're going to want to do this instead. So I hope that helps. Has that helped anyone? Has anyone ever done that before, like taken an inventory of their bucket list or their goals? Have you ever done that before? Let me know if that has helped you. I'm going to send you guys this in a print format so that you have this as well, so that you can apply it to your notes. Because I don't know if you're like me, when I take notes, I'm like scribbling, and half the time I can't even read my own writing. And then I'm trying to remember, like, Why did I write that? What did they ask me? Why did I answer in that way? So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you guys so that you have it in print. All right, sound good? All right, who's ready to go with their bucket list? You guys already have the wheels turning? Yes? Okay, does anyone want to share now? Are you feeling a little more brave to share or no? No, still not brave enough to share. That's okay. All right. Okay, what have we got for time? Any questions? I'm going to open it up for questions. We're about 15 minutes over the hour, so if anyone has to get off the call, no worries. I will make sure that you get this, but does anyone have any questions about anything? It could be goal setting, it could be WildFit, it could be whatever you have a question about. Rebecca's got a goal and she put it out there. Woo! Congratulations. That is a big step. You can do it. You can do it, Rebecca. I know you can. Awesome. She can do it. Kim, you're going to bed 30 minutes earlier, and she's going to get up 30 minutes earlier to walk for 30 minutes starting tomorrow. Yay! That's an easy thing to do, right? And so if something felt like it was a little too much, you just back off a little bit, right? And as long as you're doing something. Yes, Rebecca, release. You don't want it back. Absolutely. Yes, our language is so important. Jill, unfortunately, my spin classes, I don't have them anymore because thanks to COVID, I opted to go full-time with WildFit health coaching. So I don't have my spin classes anymore, unfortunately. But there's some great spin classes. I'm not sure where you are located, but there are some great spin classes that you could pick up in Barneveld if you're close to that area. But I'll be honest with you. Well, I'm a spin instructor, so I kind of just do my own thing, but don't underestimate the free stuff on YouTube. Like, you don't have to have Peloton. YouTube has got some excellent spin class. So if you have access to a bike. Hopefully you do. I'm not sure, Jill, if you have access to a bike, but if you do, YouTube has been wonderful for me because they have played the music for me and everything. And I feel like I'm in a real class. All right. Awesome, guys. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was trying to put something in the chat and I think I sent it just to Deborah. So sorry, Deborah, you get to learn my goal. I guess it. So, but anyway, that's why I hate technology some days. I'm like, oh, it never does what you want it to do.
Oh, I know.
But anyway.
Awesome. So the important part, Heidi, is you got it out of your head and you shared it with someone. Even if it wasn't with all of us, you shared it with someone.
That I did. Yes. I actually think I still owe Deborah some information about making homemade chocolate chips. I realized as I was sitting here from one of our previous reunion chats.
Yeah. So
I'll make a note.
Awesome. Thanks, Heidi. So I'm going to just wrap up with some closing thoughts. Most of you already know me from WildFit, but super exciting to say that I am now getting our next 90-day health challenge going. It's going to start on January 24th. And for those of you who don't know what WildFit is, it is a nutritional-based health program. But it wasn't designed to help people lose weight, but it's probably the absolute best way and healthiest way that you can do that. But it really has been amazing at turning people's health around. It has helped me tremendously. My mom has reversed her pre-diabetic diagnosis, and there's an extra super amazing bonus with this one this 24th of January challenge is going to be worldwide. And so Eric Edmeades, the creator of WildFit, will be participating in some of the coaching calls. So this is huge for anyone. I know for those of you who have done WildFit with me, you know how valuable Eric's message is. But to see it live and to be in a coaching scenario with him is incredible opportunity. So for anyone who is interested in hearing more about that, please reach out to me. I'm happy to share some information with you. And my past WildFitters, if you just want a little refresh, it's open to you as well. I'll reach out to you, or you reach out to me and let me know if you need a refresher. But you have access to all your goodies forever anyway, so you don't necessarily have to do it. But if you want that exciting time with Eric, it's really cool. Plus, he's doing this whole diabetes segment, and he's bringing in experts and doctors to help with his coaching because he's currently writing a new book about diabetes. So there's going to be a whole new diabetic topic in this WildFit coaching program, which is really exciting. Rebecca, you want me to message you? Yes, I can do that. Absolutely. I will do that. Deborah, Heidi is going to share her goal with all of us to make it an intermediate level in your Korean language learning. That would be awesome, Heidi. That is so, so exciting. Very cool. I'm just reading the message. Okay. Yeah, that would be so cool. I would love to hear that, Heidi. You could come talk in my ear in Korean all you want. That would be so.
I'm not that good at it, but I do have a language learning partner who's, I think, a busy mom just like me, so she's pretty understanding. So, it's cool, and she's really nice. So.
Yeah, that's lovely. So see how important it is to find someone that can be supportive and be your accountability buddy. By sharing this with supportive people, not our negative Nellies, they're going to help you. And if you're lucky enough, like Heidi, they get to do it together. So she's going to do it with her. So that's super helpful. Good luck, Heidi. I'm sure you're going to do amazing. I can't wait. So that I'm going to wrap it up there. Does anyone else have any questions? Deborah, yes, I'll message you about that as well. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, I am going to let you go. I hope that you found this helpful in your goals, taking inventory, breaking them down. Most importantly, though, finding why this goal or this bucket list is so important to you and in your life. And then just finding those small little steps. Small little steps is all you need, because that will make you want to do more and more, and you won't need willpower, and you won't need a resolution. Remember, small hinges, itty bitty ones, swing big doors. So thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Stay warm, because it's supposed to be even colder tomorrow here in New York. Stay warm, stay safe, and be healthy. Bye, guys.